far as PDRN too, again, that's like the hot thing in aesthetics right now. You really do want to know how that is manufactured, because if it's not sterile, you don't even know what type of salmon that's coming from. It needs to be wild caught, not farm. For instance, farm can harbor bacteria real easy. Wild, not as much. So how is that? How is the purity of that being manufactured? And is it sterile? I mean, think about it. Okay, if you're having a microneedling treatment, which means you are having a tiny controlled wounds put into the skin, do you really want to have a product that is not sterile being then put on the skin topically? All those little tiny microchannels that you created, you don't necessarily know. So big difference again in quality of product.
Welcome to the Beauty Talk podcast, where we feature how the best medical practitioners help their patients to look better, younger, and healthier. Now, enjoy the show, and here's your host.
Daniel Gao here. I'm the host of Beauty Talk. We feature the top medical practitioners in health and beauty, both inside and out. I have Jesika Cook, the clinical coordinator at Skincare by Vondi, who has been with the company for over 6 years. She has more than 15 years of experience in management and marketing, as well as over 25 years of experience in the beauty industry. She holds an Associate of Arts degree, a health science degree in radiography, and also nationally registered as a medical assistant. She has over a dozen certifications, including a variety of lasers, dermal health treatments, injectables, Botox, and a combination treatments, which is overseen by a medical director. Early on in her career, she was a full-time makeup artist and model. Her passion remains in medical aesthetics, where she focuses on safety, efficiency, and patient education. So Jesika, welcome and glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so let's start off with this. How did you first get interested in the medical field?
Oh boy. That was probably back in 2008, 2009. I was living in California, getting ready to move to Wyoming, be closer to my family, and kind of started my family and thought, okay, what am I going to do with my career now? Wyoming doesn't have quite the same audience as, say, California for makeup, and so it was kind of like, well, what do I do here? And I always liked medical. I just really never thought that was something I was going to dive into, but I did, and I really enjoyed it. And so I've just kind of slowly been moving through the different realms of it, and this is my passion where I'm at now.
Okay. And were you always in the aesthetic side? I mean, the makeup artist was kind of the first thing, and then the medical, now it's the aesthetics on the medical side. But were you always involved in aesthetics kind of from an early age?
I kind of was. One of my first jobs was working at a medical spa as a receptionist, and learning medical skincare and some of the different modalities that clinic offered. And I really seemed to thrive there. I'm very much a people person, and I really enjoy learning and then sharing that knowledge that I've acquired.
Okay. Now, you've been with this practice for over 6 years now, so I'd like to dive a little bit deeper into the kind of treatments that you typically provide to your clients.
Okay.
I want to dive into one that sounds like it's a specialty. It's Vamp Light.
Yes.
Now, I've never heard of this before. I don't know if you guys just made this up just specific to you, but could you explain what is Vamp Light?
Okay, well, VAMP itself is an acronym for a product that was released, I believe, a couple years ago. The company's called Prolenium, and they're an aesthetic company. And they created this product called VAMP, and it's an acronym for vitamins, amino acids, minerals, and the P stands for PDRN, which is a hot topic in aesthetics and beauty right now. And this particular product, the PDRN, is a sterile medical grade topical solution that you put on the skin, and it's fragmented salmon DNA or salmon sperm.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we have incorporated this particular 1 ml syringe topical product into a treatment that we've kind of integrated. It's a 3-part process, I guess, in your skincare treatment. And it's just gone over really, really well. So rather than, the product was originally created to be post-treatment for like microneedling or radio frequency. We
Mm.
do those things in the office. We have a great protocol for that. We have incorporated this product for that. But we were like, how can we use this product without having a invasive treatment done? Because some people don't like the downtime. They
Mm.
want something that's going to show some result, and they want to be in, they want to be out, and they want to be on with their life. So you need to be able to penetrate the dermis, the deeper into the skin, in order for this product to really do its job. And we can do that with light therapy, as long as you have a strong enough light to do that. So we created Vamp Light by dermaplaning, which is that's a mild exfoliation. You take off the vellus hair, dead skin cells of the stratus corneum layer of skin. We do a mild acid, which is just it's a mild solution. There is no peeling with it. It's just added exfoliation, stimulation of the cells in the skin. And then we apply this vamp, we allow it to dry. We use plant stem cells then on top of that. And then we put our patients under our light for 20 minutes. This light is a 920 nanometer light. So it is penetrating down into that dermis. It is stimulating collagen. And it has just overall, like, it's been hot. It's been good.
Okay. So the vamp itself is, I guess, the third, or I guess one of the steps in here where it's really the, I guess, the
Correct.
topical. Okay, got it.
Mhm.
So, but the entire protocol, if I remember correctly, so basically you're trying to remove the outer layer of the skin, then you put
Mhm.
a acid on there, also, I guess, to get rid of some of the, not imperfections, but just kind of get rid of some of more of the dead cells. Then you
Uh-huh.
put this on top of this, on top of the skin, and then you put
Correct.
people under a light, and then I'm assuming the light basically helps to the skin to
Penetrate the
absorb.
product.
Okay, got it. So it goes into the skin.
Yep.
Got it. Okay. So when it comes to this product or this treatment, what is the end goal of it? Is it to build up collagen? Is it to get more of that glow? Is it to tighten the skin? Is it all the above? Like, what is it? What's the end goal of it?
Absolutely. So, tons of vitamins, tons of minerals. It's extremely hydrating to the skin. It's excellent for sensitive skin that needs to heal. It helps with the tonicity of the skin, helps to collagen production. It is like all of the above.
Okay. So it's
Plus,
all in one.
all in one, all in one. And then you add that light therapy in there. I'm very much an analogy person.
Mm.
So I like to think of, we're kind of like a flower in photosynthesis. We like to absorb that light. Our skin responds to that. We live in Wyoming, and so our climate can be kind of brutal,
Mm.
and it's just a good mood booster as well, as skin healing, and so it does all the things, and it's for face and neck too. So a lot of treatments, a lot of times you have one price for face, and then you add on, and then you have another price for the neck. This is kind of all in one.
Mm.
um People really need to take care of their neck just as much as they do their face. So
Okay. So with this treatment, is it like a one time and you're good to go, or do people need to come back for multiple treatments of it to get the full effect?
sure. People need to come back for multiple treatments, 3 treatments, 4 weeks apart.
Mhm.
We have cellular turnover on our skin every 28 days. And so, really, every 28 days, you can do this treatment.
Mhm.
You can add the VAMP product itself to any of our treatments,
Mhm.
but this particular treatment, 3 in a row, 4 weeks apart. And we kind of gauge, like, how are our clients feeling? Do they feel like they need additional hydration? Do they need additional healing? Are they doing other treatments other than this treatment, which we categorize this as a dermal health treatment? Dermal health meaning, like, we are just keeping the integrity and the health of the skin on a regular basis, which is that every 28 days. So 3 treatments, 4 weeks apart. We can go 3 months without doing a treatment and then do another series.
Okay, got it. And
So,
then you kind of brought this point as far as being able to mix this with other treatments. So they're doing this, they have to wait 28 days. and then they do it again and then wait 28 days. So in between those times, can they do other treatments as well, or is it not really advised, or how can people handle that?
It's safe enough that you can do other treatments. I personally, as a technician, I would not recommend doing anything, any more than 2 weeks apart. Again, dermal health treatments, it really depends on what kind of skin issues are we dealing with here. Somebody who is acne prone likely has very sensitive skin and is not, their skin may not be ready for that intense of a treatment. And as you build your relationship with your client, you are learning their skin. And so we follow up with all of our patients when they initially have this treatment done, see how they're doing, see if they had any side effects. There really are no side effects, I'll note, with this. Maybe a little bit of dryness for certain skin types, but across the board, what we see in our clinic is, we don't have any. Um, so I wouldn't say yes, you can do treatments in between, but no more than 2 treatments in 1 month. And again, that's also going to depend on what other treatments are they having. If they're having more ablative treatments, I do not recommend doing in between.
Okay. So, and you mentioned when it comes to this treatment that sensitive skin, the topic of sensitive skin, like this, you said there's really no downsides to this or very little downsides to it. So if people have sensitive skin, would it just be a matter of maybe the intensity of what you're doing, or maybe they need a little bit more rest in between it? Or how do people with sensitive skin kind of approach this type of treatment?
Sure. So sensitive skin, yeah, we would start low and slow is how I like to describe it. You can customize any treatment really. Dermaplaning is not for everybody. Some people break out from it. Others, they don't like the little vellus hairs growing back. Oh gosh, I see, more of those little hairs and I don't want to do that again. So you could do like an enzymatic mask that would help to lift some of those dead skin cells in place of dermaplaning. Somebody with sensitive skin, that might apply to them better. We have different levels and grades, percentages of acids that we can use. There's also different types of acids. You have smaller molecule acids, you have larger molecule acids. So you might start with something like a lactic acid, which is actually a hydrating acid. It's a hydrating molecule. So someone with sensitive skin, again, like, maybe we just start with only a 10% versus a 20 or a 30. You don't dive right into something that is heavier, like glycolic or, salicylic. And then we have different wavelengths in the LED light as well. So we apply the vamp, and maybe we do an acne setting, which isn't going to penetrate quite as deep, but they're still going to get that. They'll still get that response. Acne settings, those are going to be a red-blue combination in light therapy, and that's great at killing P bacteria. So it is customizable. We can make it for everyone, whether it's sensitive skin, whether it's acne-prone skin, or if we're just really trying to, slow down the age process.
Okay. So that's the vamp light then. Now I want to go into the salt facial, because I think it's another thing that you guys really specialize in. What is the salt facial?
Okay, the salt facial it's a 3-part treatment. It uses organic sea salt to exfoliate the skin. So it's healing in itself. It's hydrating in itself. There are, again, different degrees of intensity when we're talking. This is dry exfoliation or dry microderm. People are likely familiar with. So it's a dry microdermabrasion, but it uses organic sea salt. And then we use aesthetic ultrasound with plant stem cells to drive like a mandelic acid or a glycolic acid deeper into the skin, helps to deliver oxygen to those cells. And that's very therapeutic. A lot of people fall asleep during that part. It's just a very cooling topical circular motion that you do for X amount of minutes in each part of the face. And then again, they lay under that LED light for 20 minutes. And so people are becoming more and more conscious of what's in my treatment, what's in my product. And so we kind of pride ourselves on that. We want our patients to know what they are getting into, what the product is that's being used. And, education truly is everything. And I think we're kind of in that generation where more people are asking questions about that. They want to know. They want to know where it's derived from. They want to know, the percentages of it. They want to know how it's manufactured. So all those things are really, really key. And the vamp light and the salt facial are definitely two that keep it cleaner, for lack of a better term.
Okay. And between these two, I guess, what's the difference between the two? Like, are there certain situations where you want to use one over the other?
Sure. So the vamp light is going to be it's going to be a little more gentle. It's going to be a little more relaxing, I guess
Mhm.
you could say. The salt facial, I mean, we could do body parts. We could do stretch marks. I mean, we can have pinpoint bleeding with that. Um, and so there's definitely a place for both. The light, though, across the board, that's like a universal tool. Like everybody should be doing light therapy, truly.
Okay. And then with the salt facial, then is it kind of the same concept where you need to do it multiple times with certain periods in between, or is it one of those one and done kind of things?
Nope, this is also a dermal health treatment. This one you could do every 4 weeks, definitely.
Mhm.
Um, it's yeah, it's safe enough to do every month. Yeah, I recommend doing salt facials every month.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's the same protocol as the vamp light once a month, and then you could do it for 3 months and then kind of give it a break and then redo it again after about another 3 months.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Okay, and I'm assuming since they're kind of doing something very similar to each other, that you don't want to do both at the same time, like do the vamp and then 2 weeks later do the salt, and 2 weeks later do the vamp again, and 2 weeks later do the salt again. It's typically be one or the other.
The one or the other, yes, one or
Okay.
the other. Yeah. You really and truly, I mean, you can change up your dermal health treatments
Mhm.
every 4 weeks to kind of whatever your skin's feeling and whatever kind of mood you're in.
Mhm.
A lot of people will do the salt facial, like I said, on a monthly basis.
Mhm.
Sometimes we really just don't want that dry exfoliation. We're not feeling it. Or, again, for where we live, we don't have a lot of summer months. So a lot of people spend time out at the lake. If they're out at the lake and they have an active sunburn, we're definitely, not going to do like this dry exfoliation to the point that, they're cringing in the chair.
Mhm.
We might choose to do a vamp that time, and that's totally fine. Again, these are both treatments that can be done on a monthly basis.
Okay, got it. So, and I'm curious, when it comes to these types of treatments, what would you say some of the common misconceptions or myths that you hear about these types of treatments?
I don't. Well, actually, okay. So I think there's a lot of misconception out there about LED therapy. There's a lot of these that you can just buy online. You can do it at home. There is definitely a huge difference in the quality and the penetration. The number of bulbs that you have in your light are critical. And what are the nanometers that that light therapy is penetrating down to? So there's this misconception that, oh well, what they do at the spa I can do at home and I can get the exact same
Mhm.
results. Definitely not. Do your research. Know your product. Know really what it is that you're looking for. Some people are just like, I'm going to wear this thing, this mask that I bought for home every night, and that's going to suffice for what was paying at the med spa. No, there's a reason that medical grade is medical grade, and, just across the board, consumer is consumer.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, and as far as PDRN too, again, that's like the hot thing in aesthetics right now. You really do want to know how that is manufactured, because if it's not sterile, you don't even know what type of salmon that's coming from. It needs to
Mm.
be wild caught, not farm. For
Hmm.
instance, farm can harbor bacteria real easy. Wild, not as much. So how is that? How is the purity of that being manufactured? And is it sterile? I mean, think about it. Okay, if you're having a microneedling treatment, which means you are having a tiny controlled wounds put into the skin, Do you really want to have a product that is not sterile being then put on the skin topically? All those little tiny microchannels that you created, you don't necessarily know. So big difference again in quality of product.
Okay. Now, let's say that somebody's looking to get this type of treatment done, but they don't know who to go to. They don't have any friends in the industry that they can get a reference from. What would be the most important piece of advice you would give to them as they're doing this search, trying to find that person or that practice that really knows their stuff, can really get them a good result?
Ooh, that's a good question. um, hmm. Well, obviously, medical grade versus or medical spa versus your Cosmo salon
Mm.
is first place to start. Uh, Boy, I don't know. Word of mouth is always well too. I know that personally, when I'm looking for information, and let's just say that I'm using the social platforms as a reference, someone that's really going to be able to educate and answer the questions that you are answering. There should be a scientific explanation with it, whether you understand it or you don't, a scientific explanation, and then give me the layman's terms, like,
Mhm.
help me to understand this. So when I do my search, that's what I'm looking for. And then too, credentialing. Credentialing is another thing, someone who is continually learning and sharing that knowledge, I think proves that, okay, they obviously know a little bit about what they're saying.
Okay. And what about quality of product? You kind of talked a little bit about for
Mhm.
the salmon sperm, like what is it wild caught? Is it farm
Right.
raised? Is it sterile? Is it not sterile? Um, is something like that something that the average consumer can figure out or know about, or should they even keep an eye out for? Or is it just like, yeah, it's important, but like most of the consumers would have no idea to verify whether it is sterile or not?
No, probably most would not. That's what we have sales reps for, and a medical team behind, the company that you're buying from.
Mm,
Again, this is where I think it's important that your technician, your esthetician, medical esthetician, your nurse, whoever it is, teach you about that. And then I think that word of mouth does really go pretty far. Um, so other than that, I don't really have an answer.
okay, no, that was good. That was a good one. Okay, so now, Jessica, what role do you believe creativity plays in how you approach client care? Like, is it important? Is it not that important? Do you have a protocol in place? Like, you don't really need creativity, but like, what role do you think creativity plays?
Oh, well, let's just say if I had my own clinic, I would name it probably Met Derma, like the Met Gala,
Mm,
because Met Gala stands for creativity, right?
mm,
Creative skin, like that is such a thing. You have to be creative because we're so individualized, we're all so unique. So one protocol does not translate for every person. It needs to be different. And I do think that a person that works in aesthetics has to be creative. I have seen firsthand nurses that come in and they've been in, they're a tenured nurse and they've been in the field for, 10, 20 years, and they're like, yeah, I can do this. It's a different beast. I mean, you are talking about working on someone's face that they look at every single day. um, and so you have to have a creative eye, but you also have to have a medical background. You have to know the names of those muscles. You have to know how they work. You need to know the layers of skin and how that works. Everybody's skin color is different. You have to know what the limitations are with certain skin tones. And certain skin abnormalities, like it isn't the same for everybody. It's going to be different. And as a clinic, you really do have to be open to catering and customizing those treatments for everybody. So yes, absolutely, you have to be creative.
okay. Now, Jessica, throughout your experience, I'm sure that you've had some interesting, memorable, or challenging cases that have come into the practice. Is there maybe one story that comes to mind that you can share of just tough case, challenging case, memorable case, and really how you were able to get them a successful outcome in the end?
So this is a good question. Not maybe so memorable, but I've had several cases in the instance where they've come in, they've been to other clinics, they've tried the skincare treatments, they've tried the skincare products. They still are just having like these active breakouts of acne.
Mm.
And so it's like they're frustrated, they're shut down. They're like, I just don't think anything's going to help. First and foremost, it's let me get to know you. Let me talk to me about the things that you have tried. Let me start compiling my idea of where we're going to go with this treatment. And then those questions need to go beyond what skincare treatments have you done? What skincare line or products are you using? What about your diet? What about your lifestyle? Like, do you have allergies? Have you ever considered like, are your breakouts timed? Do you seem to have breakouts at the same time of the month? Of course, for females, that can be, hormone related. But we have such bad gut health across the board in the US that a lot of skincare issues actually stem from that. Our biggest organ is our skin, and it talks to us the most. So clients are like, wow, I don't know. I hadn't really considered that, like, no, I don't seem to have any outward expression when I eat dairy products. Okay, well, are maybe your breakouts are a reason, for that. Or, if you like to drink beer, or alcohol, or one piece of sugar and you have a breakout, like all of those things contribute to how the skin is. And so for me, those cases are the most memorable because it gets them thinking, you're educating them, and you're kind of starting them off on another journey, and you're giving them some confidence like, okay, yeah, I am going to get this figured out, and I'm actually going to take accountability and look at this for myself versus relying on a skincare clinic to do it for me. Okay, I'm going to start eating better, or okay, I'm not going to use that skincare product because I'm going to look at the ingredients next time when I purchase, a product. So that's the most rewarding for me
Okay.
is having those clients, excited that okay, like, yeah, I can understand this, and I will figure this out, and together we'll make the skin better.
Well, it's a wonderful way of putting it. It's like it makes a lot more sense now, like when you put it that way, and just how you're able to help people through that journey.
Hmm.
So now, Jessica, where do you think the future of aesthetics is going?
I think that we are definitely gearing towards more, aging gracefully is the term that's been around forever, right? We know that it's going to happen. Um, we I think that we're as a society, we're learning more about how we slow that process internally.
Mm.
And when I speak internally, I mean we're more conscious about what it is that we're either ingesting or that we are putting on our skin. So the future is, I think, really in the non-invasive, non-ablative. How can I keep that momentum going for the longest period of time before I have to consider doing something more invasive? Um, and so what are those treatments going to look like?
Mhm.
Who's going to offer those kinds of things? And I think the same for not only consumers are more concerned about what they're putting in their body, but I think offices are more conscientious of doing things that are better, are healthier, aren't going to cause more uh, uh, I can't think of the word right now. Um, Antioxidants and so forth, all the harmful chemicals that we have in our, atmosphere, all of that. How can we do treatments that are going to benefit not only topically but internally?
Okay. Okay. And for the practice, Skincare by Vondi, what's the vision for the practice, kind of tying this into the future of aesthetics?
Mm-hmm. You know, mm, I don't really know what the future holds. Things are changing in aesthetics all of the time. I personally have interest in stem cells and exosomes more specifically. I would like to see, the practice probably incorporate that not only into the skin, but also for functional health and wellness.
Mhm. Okay. Well, Jessica, I have one last question for you. But before
Sure.
I ask it, I do want to point people to your website at skincarebyvondi.com.
Correct.
Now, last question is, what does beauty mean to you?
Oh my goodness. That's a great question. Uh, to me, beauty is personality, truly. We are all so unique and we all hold so many gifts. And I think that beauty is realizing the potential of those gifts that we have to give to others.
Well said. Well, Jessica sharing your expertise. So, Jessica, where can people contact you or the business?
Uh, Skincare by Vondi, absolutely, here in Casper, Wyoming. And of course, always they can drop us an email on our website.
Awesome. Well, Jessica, this is great. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for sharing your knowledge and thanks for sharing your message.
You bet. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Beauty Talk podcast. Any questions, please contact the practice directly with the contact information provided during the show. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.